It's okay. It's because we called the audible late, and he had already done the. No, it's fine, man. Yeah, sure. I have checked it out. Yeah, it is, man. Yeah. And I'm definitely down. Like, there's nothing wrong with changing it up too. I didn't want it to be. It was almost like there was more trouble than it was worth to talk to him about it. You guys ready? Yeah. Count us in, Chris. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. To you jazz aficionados out there, you might recognize that was not There Will Never Be Another You. That was a tune called Softly as in a Morning Sunrise. And we played that one because today Nancy's going to be talking about a new dawn, a new day, right? So we wanted to express that sunrise kind of energy this morning.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be back. I've been 5 weeks on the road, and I visited 4 different unities on my travels. And I wanted to say that although the music was great, there's never been a band like you.
I see what you did there.
So good morning out there in Facebook or digital world or wherever you are. And my name is Pat Fenda. It's a pleasure to be here again. And if you're here for the first time, we have a special gift for you. Please stop by the table in the lobby following the service so you can pick out a T-shirt. And I hope you proudly wear it. So I would always go, when they asked for guests, I would announce to the Unity wherever I was that I was a proud member of Unity of Tampa. So, yay. All right. I think that we have a few announcements now. Here we are. We last week did sleeping mats, I was told, for the homeless. So every 4th Sunday, join the care team for crocheting these plastic mats. And I'm going to have to put on my glasses because it's red, and I can't read red without my glasses. We have collected bags for those of you making mats. Please pick them up in Fellowship Hall. So the next meeting will be Sunday, August 22nd. Reach Summer Project, support the Children's Board, snacks and school supplies, and I know I saw them before I left, so keep them coming. Thank you to Norma and Kathy. Thank you, Norma and Kathy. And by popular demand, A Course in Miracles, now going on. No sign-up required. Every Thursday, 7 to 8:30 in Fellowship Hall. Love offerings appreciated. Be a Sunday host. Yay. You can be an angel by just bringing your snacks in. Fuel the fun. There's sign-up in Fellowship Hall. Special thanks to always Nancy and Jeffrey for Sunday snacks, to Mary and Lewis Key for last week's snacks, and to all the snack angels who continue to contribute and help. New courtyard matching funds. How fun! The new courtyard helped to meet a $5,000 challenge to build a new courtyard. That will be great. And I know we'll meet that goal. Hey, today is Birthday Sunday. And there's lots of birthdays this month. In particular, Lewis Key, if you're watching from St. Augustine, where I know you are having your birthday celebration, happy birthday to you. And to all, are there any other people who have birthdays this week? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And now we have more music, I believe. Or Nancy. I don't know. What comes up? I forgot.
Isn't it nice to have Pat back?
Yes.
So I have a couple of things I want to tell you. First, we are at $1,080 on our challenge in 1 week. So our $5,000 challenge, we passed 1,000 this weekend. With another contribution we received yesterday. So we're at 1,080. That person is going to have to pay up, is all I'm saying, because we are going to make our goal. So thank you to our generous donor and for challenging us. Also, I have to tell you this, and I'll show you a picture next week. Julie Baum and Mark Pendergrass. Did I say his name right? Right, thank you. They have been in what is called the Ragbray. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's the ride across Iowa. And they literally completed, she wrote me this morning, they made it 7 days, 468 miles on their bikes. Isn't that impressive? So big shout out to Julie and Mark if you're watching. They were actually headed to a Unity church where they were today, so that's pretty awesome. All right, let's see. I think that's it for me. Let's take a moment and say our affirmation. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. All right, and we have the daily word today is radiance. And it's really beautifully written. It says, the Christ's presence within is my radiant source of good. On a clear day when a stray cloud passes across the sun, I notice the suddenly diminished light. Then looking up, I see brilliant rays of sunshine surrounding the cloud. Instead of hiding the sun, the cloud helps me see and appreciate the sun's radiance. As the sun lights the earth and is the source of its energy, the Christ, the divine presence within me, is my light and the source of everything that I need in order to live brilliantly and joyfully. When, like a passing cloud, an obstacle or challenge along my path may seem to dim my Christ light, I respond by looking up, by raising my point of view. I am reassured and strengthened, knowing that the divine radiance is shining as brightly as ever. No cloud can dim the divine light within me. And from John 1, verse 5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Now, I have to tell you, it's so amazing how these things are synchronistic, because that very message is in my talk today. And I did not know that was today's daily word. So, just interesting how it all works. And I see many of you in masks. We're not mandating them here, but we are going back to wearing masks if you feel comfortable doing so, because many of us are concerned about what's changing. So we haven't mandated yet, just letting you know.
It is beautiful, a little synchronicity on a Sunday morning, right? Because our new song for the month of August also talks about radiance. Will you guys stand and sing Thank You for This Day with us? Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Yeah, this healing, this beautiful day. This beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Let's hear you sing. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. I can't hear you. Wonderful, my wonderful friends. Yeah. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. My radiant health. My radiant health, yeah. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. My opulent wealth. My opulent wealth. Yeah. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Let's say thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. It's a new day. this beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you. We're gonna sing it a little quick now. Thank you for this day, Spirit. You got it. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Yeah. And thank you. That's fun. All right.
Good morning.
Morning.
Have to take that off again. All right, so we're going into a new month, and we have a new power for our kids this month. Our power is zeal, which I thought was perfect for going back to school, even though some of us might feel less than zeal about that right now. Not me. So zeal is the passion and enthusiasm that propels us forward in truth. It is not noisy and loud. It is a steady energy that helps us keep in our desire to ceaselessly practice the presence of God. So our opening prayer for this week, we have, I am filled with the energy of spirit. This energy moves throughout my body, helping me stay focused on the task at hand. I am inspired by the energy of spirit. This energy invites me to be creative and gives me the energy to bring my ideas into being. I am moved by the energy of spirit. Any task I undertake is made easier because of my connection. I am loving, energetic, a being of light, blessed. Amen. And we are missing some of our friends today, but we have a few friends that are going to come hang out, and I think they might be enjoying their last week of summer.
Well, we're not letting Emma go yet.
Oh.
So we want to put up a slide. And I want everybody to know Emma graduated this weekend with her master's degree. We are very proud of Emma. I don't know that everybody knew. We didn't even know she was graduating this weekend. But here's what's amazing. She's been teaching all year, being here on the weekends, preparing our Sunday school lessons, and studying at the same time. And it's just amazing. We're very proud of you, Emma. Yes,
Working
congrats.
hard,
Yeah.
I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Thanks, you guys. It was beautiful. Chris, thank you for being here again today. It's awesome. And today we have David up in the sound booth with Jeffrey. Duncan is off today, so we're very grateful David stepped in to help Jeffrey today. Thanks to everybody, and Michael out in the lobby, of course. So we're very grateful for our wonderful group. All right, I have a great story for today. I'm going to tell you the whole story, so there's only one story. But this is an amazing young man. But the story goes far beyond his talent. So his name is Matthew Whitaker. Matt. He was born blind, and his parents were told he only had a 50-50 chance of survival. He underwent 11 surgeries before age 2, and despite facing the odds, bad odds, he survived. And not only that, but he started showing this extraordinary gift at age 3. He was composing music and playing the piano, and he had never had a teacher. He was writing his own tunes and playing and just took to the piano. At age 18 now, he can play anything he hears, from Czech composer Dvorak to Beyonce. A woman named Dahlia Sackis told this story about him that I just loved. She was from the Greenberg Music School for the visually impaired and remembered him coming to a recital. And she tells the story that at age 5, she and her group were performing a 5-piece quartet song, a 5-person quartet, right? How do you say that? Anyway, the piece was 5 people and a string quartet. And however that works. And
Quintet.
gosh, my mom's going to just die up in heaven today. I've been in music my whole life and I couldn't spit that out. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, Matt and his mom were in the audience that night. So the next day when Dahlia comes into work to the studio, he's sitting there and he's playing all 5 parts, okay, that he heard. No music. All 5 parts from the night before. So he is now, that was age 5, by the way. He has since toured the world. He's headlined prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall and the Kennedy Center, and he's won a number of music awards. But the best part of the story, beyond that, is that a doctor who is also a musician decided that he needed to understand what this kid has. How is it that this kid can hear any song and just play it? So his name is Dr. Charles Lim, and he called the parents, Matt's parents, and he said, can we do an MRI on your son? I want to do a few different ones. They said, sure. Matt was open to it. And here's what they learned. They exposed him to different stimuli during the time that he was playing music, and they exposed him to music while he was under the MRI. And what they found out was that his brain had repurposed the unused visual cortex in order to build other pathways in his brain. And when he was just listening to music, his entire visual cortex lit up in the MRI. They had never seen anything like it. And when Dr. Lim told Matt about the brain scans, he was amazed, of course, and he said, well, I didn't know any of this was happening. And then they told him that your brain is lighting up. So you have this extra ability to create music, and you have a keen sense of sound now because of that as well. And he said, all I know is that I love music. Isn't that a great story? Like, oh my gosh, I was so impressed. I went online, I read a lot about him, and, you know, I had visions of him coming in and sitting where Michael is one day and playing for us. Not permanently, Michael. Like a concert,
Sorry,
Michael. But I can just see him joining us for an evening one night someday. I'll put Michael on Finding Him and seeing what it would take for us to host him one night. Anyway, with that said, let's get ready for meditation. And maybe my tongue-tied mouth will work better.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. We're going to sing it one more time, as quietly as we can. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Oh, surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Such a beautiful message. And from up here, it's been easy to see the glory on each face. We are so blessed this morning and every morning to be part of this gathering and to be together and to share spiritual commonality. And I just invite you now to take a deep breath and relax your body and your mind. Everybody's lives are so busy, sometimes we forget to just take a moment. And as you just keep breathing and relaxing your body, letting go of everything that's on your mind, listen to the words I'm going to share and let them brush over your heart. Take in only what feels right. With every challenge I face, the one constant I can always depend on is the divine of life. Beneath the surface lies the muck, the mud, and the obstacles that seem to trap me. But regardless of what appears around me, I am grounded and I am secure. I trust that I will rise above the surface, stretch my face toward the sun, and feel the warmth of the glow that becomes part of my being. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions of the day. And some days it seems I am also going through the actions. But the depth of their meaning does not penetrate my clouded mind. And yet, I still persist. I somehow know to go on every day and follow that light within me. Spirit is working in me and through me. And the clouds of confusion formed by my human attachments may limit my ideas about myself. But the more I look within, the more they dissipate. Spiritual light casts out the shadows of my limitation, thoughts of separation, and any fears I have. The truth of my being shines. I am a perfect child of God. I am radiant. I am glorious. I am divine as spiritual light breaks through. I rest now in the silence, breathing in the divine light. As I continue to release limited thinking and invite Spirit to transform, I see the world in its infinite possibility. When my mind is open, the light of God enters in, and I anticipate and invite only my highest good. And when I do, I am richly blessed. The light of God shines brightly on my life. And with my mind and heart open, and I am able to take in what is mine today, what is meant for me, words that can help me, spiritual guidance that will lead the way. And as I gently bring myself back to this place and time, I am at peace. So the news this past week was riddled with stories of Olympians who faced disappointments and challenges. Many of you heard the story of gold medalist Simone Biles, who had not lost a competition since 2013, been vaulting in the air like a star. And suddenly, she couldn't twist and turn. She couldn't figure it out, and she decided to step back out of the competition. Everything she had ever trained for suddenly was in question. And for the first time since the year 1900, not one U.S. crew that participated in the regatta walked away with a medal. Disappointment. And some of you may have read the story about Novak Djokovic, the winner of all 3 Grand Slams to date this year. He was defeated and is going home without a medal. Disappointment after disappointment. And we as Floridians learned this week that we are the epicenter for the new Delta variant for unvaccinated travelers. We've all just begun to enjoy our freedom. And now we're returning to optional masking to protect others, even those of us who are all vaccinated. You know, life can be difficult and it's going to present us with challenges, and we've all experienced dark days, all of us. Those days when we said the dawn could not come soon enough. But it's about what we understand when we're in the darkness that helps us actually grow and become better people. So today, that's what we're going to look at. What can we understand about those dark days and the darkness? Joseph Campbell, one of my favorite authors, he said one thing that comes out in myths is that at the bottom of the comes the voice of salvation. The black moment is the moment when the real message of transformation is going to come. It's at the darkest moment that we experience the light. Now, the Bible is full of passages about light. And the one I mentioned in a daily word today says the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Light shall shine out of darkness. But I love the aspect that darkness has never overcome light. Darkness has never overcome light. And there's another passage in Luke that says the rising sun will come to us from heaven to shine on those living in darkness, and in the shadow of death to guide our feet into the path of peace. The bottom line is that learning to embrace darkness is critical to us actually growing and to achieving our next step. But we have to understand how. So the first tip I want to give you came from Simon Vorster and Jennifer Langstone in an article they wrote that had a message about healing being in the shadows, hidden in the shadows. And they say that what saves us from our pain and fear is never outside of us. It is always within. It's found in the hidden shadows. And in the article, they said something very profound for us to think about. That our challenges, our experiences come from two places. Life lessons come from these two sources. One, experiences that we choose. Relationships, jobs, decisions, etc. And the other are choices we have no control over. When we lose a family member, when we're impacted by a hurricane. But in either case, whether it's by choice or not by choice, they suggest that we learn to embrace the shadow and invite the pain and allow darkness to actually become our teacher. Now, they explain that the most profound lessons lie not in the situation, but in how we choose to respond to the situation. By surrendering to the natural flow of life, we learn that all experiences lead to love. All experiences lead to love, even the darkest, most deeply painful ones. In other words, life is breaking us open to something more beautiful and boundless than our minds can perceive. But it all boils down to whether we are willing to experience that process of allowing adversity to be a part of our life, rather than defending it and deflecting from it and pretending it isn't happening or running away from it. In the book Dynamics of the Unconscious, astrologer Liz Green states that the first stage of any transformation is the chaos. The first stage of our transformation, our growth, comes from the chaos. She said things blow up, they fall apart, everything starts to look bad, and that's when it begins. Not at the point the actual thing happened, but when we recognize that our life is chaotic. American author, journalist, and playwright Z. Budapest said, "Turmoil is the fertile soil necessary for the soul to find eternal wisdom, insights, and peace of mind." Turmoil. And one of my favorite authors, Joan Poroshenko, in her book, Fire in the Soul, probably the book that saved my life, honestly. There were 3 outcomes from our darkest times. She said we can, 1, slowly put ourselves back together again and let life go on in the same unsatisfactory way we were living before. Or 2, we become so terrified, agitated, and depressed that we stay in the desert of our own mental illness. Or we can come out transformed and emerge with new strength, new wisdom, and a new vision. No coincidence the sun came out in that moment, by the way. Clinical psychologist Wendy Mogul says that we should literally set time aside to feel depressed, to feel low, to feel our pain, to experience what's happening to us, while we wait for those dark clouds to lift. She said the key is in not shutting down or walking around wearing a brittle mask, pretending that you're okay when you are not. In other words, no faking it until we make it. But one of my favorite suggestions from her is one in which she says we should actually make a soundtrack for our saddest times. She learned this from a group of freshman college students who were homesick. They would listen to these songs and feel sad and talk to one another about being away from home, and then the next day when the dawn came, they would move on. But they allowed themselves to bask in the challenges. In the book Breakthrough Pain, Shinzen Young shares the following about our darkest days. I love this. It says, if nature is giving you so much pain that you cannot do anything else other than be with it, then there is a message in that for you to sit with it, to be with it, to experience it. Feel the pain. It's a legitimate calling in the eyes of God and nature. And if you're making at least some effort to purify and evolve your consciousness by being with the pain in a skillful way, then you are engaged in productive and meaningful work. So there's purpose in our challenges, and there's reasons for adversity, and none of us are escaping them. But that's where we get to learn. That's when we begin to transform. That's where we get our gifts. I am 100% confident I would not be standing here today had I not gone through the challenges I did. I know my husband feels the very same about his own life challenges. None of us are escaping without a story. All got good stories. If we all got together and had one big pity party, do you know how much fun we would have? First of all, we'd have to make it a week-long retreat. Because by the time all of us got through our stories, maybe even extended a couple of weeks if we had to. Sometimes nature is the best teacher, and I want to share this story with you. The Awakened Heart Project shared it many years ago, and I still love it today. It's the story about the experience of a lotus flower. And I know I've alluded to it, but I don't think I've ever told the full story. So the lotus flower is a perfect metaphor for the importance of understanding how to move through the darkness into the light. In Buddhism, the lotus flower represents awakening and spiritual growth and enlightenment. And when the lotus flower first begins to sprout, it is underwater, making its home in the mud and the muck, in lakes and ponds. And no one can see it, and there's no room to move, and no growth possible, or at least it looks that way. Underneath the surface, it's surrounded by the mud, the muck, the fish, the insects, and very nasty conditions. It's just a stem with a few leaves at that point. But despite what it experiences, the lotus flower maintains strength. It continues to push aside the dirty obstacles, and it eventually makes its way to the surface. The little pod slowly comes above the water into the clean air, finally freeing itself from harsh life conditions. It is then that it slowly opens each beautiful petal to the sun, basking in the worldly beauty surrounding it. The lotus appears fragile on the surface, but it is flexible and strong and securely anchored beneath the surface of the water. As it opens each petal to the air, not a stain or spot of mud is visible on the outside. The inner lotus is untouched by the mud, the muck, and the dirty water. And even though it was born in the dark, murky conditions where hope for such beautiful life seems unlikely, the lotus grows and rises above all adversity and emerges as a beautiful flower unscathed by its experience. I think our darkest hours are similar to that of the lotus flower. And when we finally rise to the surface, we emerge as though we too never experienced the muck, but we are only transformed because of it. My question for all of us today is, if we know from experience that we are always going to rise from adversity, all of us, we can all say, well, I came through that. But if we know that, then why is it we spend so much time in a crisis going through these questions? Why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to do with this? How am I going to survive? Why do we ponder those questions if we already know we're going to come out of it? Why don't we just have the pity party, get into it, play that soundtrack, and trust that we are going to emerge, that we too will open our petals again and we will look on the surface like we are unscathed? We know that intuitively. Why do we make this so complicated? The best part is we're going to emerge with a greater understanding of life than we ever did before. But sometimes our need to have answers to our question stands in our way of moving forward. And I have a perfect parable to share with you. It's a Buddhist parable, but I love this story. So Buddha had a lot of disciples, right? Just like Jesus. And one of the disciples was thinking, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm really doubting why I'm doing this. So Buddha sits down with this person and tells him the story of a man who had been shot by a poison arrow and was taken to the doctor. The doctor said they needed to remove the arrow to save the man's life. But the man refused to let the doctor remove it until he knew first the name of the person who had shot him. He also wanted to know what the arrow was made of and how it was made. In the meantime, doctors are trying to save his life. Basically, the man was obsessed with knowing the details and in the process of refusing treatment died. Now, many of you have heard that story. But the point is that we're never going to really fully understand why things happen to us. We need to trust that piece. We're never going to fully understand. You can ponder it for the rest of your life, and I promise you, you're still never going to fully know. There is no way of fully knowing. It's only what you intuitively take away. But you can never prove what it was that you were experiencing and why you had to experience. Yes, it helps us to wonder enough to say, what's my lesson here? But definitely isn't going to help us to beat ourselves up waiting. Our need sometimes to have the answers gets in the way of our need to move on, or to allow ourselves the space to be sad, to be challenged, to heal, and then to move on. Let's take a look at our takeaways for today. Facing adversity requires us to, number one, recognize that every dark night is met with the light of day. No matter what we face, the dark clouds will lift and the lighted path will emerge. We give ourselves permission to rest in the muck. We have to remain mindful that our greatest growth occurs beneath the surface. And number three, remember that our full potential will always be achieved. Just like the lotus flower, we will remain strong and flexible and be visibly unscathed. Our affirmation today is, I face adversity with strength and faith. Let's say that together. I face adversity with strength and faith. I'd like to end with a quote from Antonio Brown. The journey is never ending. There's always going to be growth, improvement, adversity. You just got to take it all in and do what's right. Continue to grow and continue to live in the moment. Let's pause for a moment. We give thanks for the opportunity to rise above our adversities. We are grateful in knowing that there is always a light within. The dawn always comes in the morning, no matter how dark the night before is. And we recognize the importance of all experiences leading us to love, knowing that every single time we transform, we will become better at being more loving and understand pure, unconditional love, because the more we experience, the more compassion we grow for others. Amen. If you have a prayer need, please reach out to us. We have an amazing team of prayer chaplains, and we're always happy to pray for you, and there are numerous ways to submit your prayers, including the prayer box in the back, or you can submit them online. And now, thanks to Elliot being such a great supporter of our messages, they are going to perform Feeling Good, which I wrote him and told him I thought the words of this song really matched today, and they're doing it. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
I love a good suggestion. Thank you, Nancy. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. A dragonfly out in the sun, you know how I feel, don't you know? Butterflies having fun, you know how I feel. Sleep in peace when the day is done, but you know how I feel. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars in the sky, they know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. The freedom is mine, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Thanks, guys.
Sorry, I was a little lost in the song.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
No, I was like, you could have gone on for another 10 minutes. I would have been fine. All right, before we say our prosperity prayer, I just want to say thank you for the abundant good that is flowing forth to meet our every need. You're awesome people, and we're very, very blessed. Our congregation is expanded by 10 states now, and it's just awesome. One other country and 10 states. So we're really growing. It's really awesome. And what you see is just a portion now of who we're serving, which is very awesome. Did I say awesome enough? I'm sorry. I do that to Melody. I don't let her, stop with that word, right? And now I'm doing it. Don't tell her. She's not in here. Do not tell her. All right, let's join together inside. I know someone's going to rap me out. Let's join together in saying our prosperity prayer. I have faith in God as my instant, constant, abundant supply and supplier. I have faith in God to open ways when to the human sense there is no way. I have faith in God to guide me in all my ways, and my health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. Thank you, God, for your abundant good now flowing forth to meet my every need. And I just want to tell you, Janet is helping me make these up on cards that we'll pass out so you can practice at home. But this is really an important prayer to learn. I know it's long, but it will change your life if you get into saying it every day, because you start to really believe it. And before I turn it over to Elliot, I just want to say, Vivian, thank you to you and Patrick for arranging all this stuff Jeffrey and I contributed to today, because really, you did all the work. Thank you.
All right, we got one more song about light for you guys this morning. Is that okay? We're just trying to knock this theme out of the park a little bit, you know? I am the light, I am the light in this world, in this world. I am the light, I am the light in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time to let it shine, let it shine. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, yeah, in this world. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time to let it shine, let it shine. Here we go. We're gonna give a little love every day. Give a little love every, yeah. Give a little love every day. Gonna spread a little peace along the way. Spread a little peace and give a little love every day. Yeah. Right place, right time to let it shine. Let it shine. Here we go. We are the light. We are the light in this world. Yes, we are in this world. We are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. So let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place, this is the time. So let it shine, let it shine. Let's sing it once more. This is the place, this is the time. So let it shine, yeah. Let your light shine, Unity of Tampa. Thank you so much. We're going to sing the peace song together while you all will stand up with us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
join together to say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is great. I hope you'll join us for Birthday Sunday in the Fellowship Hall, and thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Chris, he's going to play another song.